How's it going, everyone? Hopefully you guys can hear me fine. Let me get my Coca-Cola, not sponsored, cracked for the stream. I'm just waiting on my other screen to start up and make sure I have audio and all that. Looks like I'm there. No big plans for today. I've got a few items on auction. I don't really run auctions myself, but if a consigner ever requests to run anything as auction, I'll do that. So ending this Sunday, there's a little batch of cards, primarily Yu-Gi-Oh, but I will get those shown off at some point. I've got a collection buy that I bought a couple weeks ago, not really shown. Mostly non-Pokemon though, mostly Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh. Other than that, just gonna hang out and answer chat's questions. So feel free to leave questions in chat if you have them. What's on your mind? What do you want to hear me talk about? Appreciate, as always, the members of the channel. If you click that join button below, unless you're on Apple, if you're on iPhone, you won't see it. But if you're on Android or a computer, you'll see the join button below. You can get these fancy emojis and badges. No need though. This is for free. You can pay if you want to, but you don't have to. Anyone bring donuts to the meeting, or did Dan not send out the memo? That's on me. I forgot to send out the memo. Zardhunt says we need a new thumbnail to reflect the beard. Yeah, the thumbnails, all the screen captures, I think, all the images Ernesto pulled that he uses for thumbnails are quite dated, and a lot of them, the beard isn't quite there. But that said, I'm probably going to be trimming it at some point. It's getting a little bit out of hand. Probably don't want to go to Florida. Not that Florida in February is going to be that hot, but I don't really want to go to Florida with such ridiculous growth. Pokemon Center had Evolving Skies ETBs 45 minutes ago. I just saw the tweet. I'm assuming those are sold out. Those probably went real quick. I do see some... Oh, wow. Amplitude, way too generous. 50 memberships. There's only 37 people in here. Really appreciate you, Amplitude. That's insane. That's way too generous. It looks like every single person in here will be a member, I guess. I guess Amplitude really wants to see the emotes because everyone's gonna have them. Yeah, I have no way to really highlight that. It's weird. My highlighted message thing doesn't show it, but you can kind of see it there at the right side. Amplitude gifted 50 memberships. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm assuming that Pokemon Center thing sold out. Everyone enjoy your emojis. Gonna have a lot of emotes in the chat today. I was just gonna say Ernesto was mad at me last week because I hadn't yet implemented the new emoji slots that I had unlocked, and I hadn't yet implemented some of the brand new emotes that he made. But you see the lick-a-tongue lick, you see the Machoke flex. There's some good ones in there. They're pretty funny. I see a lot of people thanking Amplitude. Really appreciate it. Really. One thing I saw somebody say and heard somebody say in a different stream, I think you might have to enable. I think you have to enable the ability to receive gifted memberships. I'm not positive. I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, everyone throw some emotes in chat for Amplitude. If the teacher doesn't show up in 15 minutes, we're legally allowed to leave. I do believe I was here before 2:31. I've been pretty punctual the last couple of weeks, although it is fairly common that I'll be 5 minutes late or so. Up to 5 minutes late. Never really longer than that, I don't think. When shipping raw singles, can you send top loader in one cardboard sheet without the non-machine stamp? This varies, and it's very frustrating. It varies by clerk, by post office. I would, instead of top loader, I would recommend going Card Saver 1. I've never had any clerk at any post office have issue with a Card Saver 1. And I think cardboard sheet around a top loader is kind of excessive. I would say Card Saver 1 because the cards are much less likely to kind of flow out of there. And if you want to do anything, if you use packing slips, just wrap the packing slip around it. Never heard of an issue, never really had any issue with Card Saver 1 going into a plain white envelope. Through eBay standard envelope, through just plain white envelope on TCG Player. That's what I've done for a long time. How's it going? Oops. Let's see. How's it going, MP Pokemon? How's it going, Shadowless Jack? We got yeah, we got the Abra, the I'm out Abra. When you've got to head out, you can just teleport out using the Abra emote. Ponga says he actually has to work today. Hope you have a good day of work. So I'm only 4 minutes behind because we've only been going for 5 minutes. But I see Ponga on one screen. I have my highlight chat over here, and then I have my live chat over here. He said he has to work today, and then he's still messaging. So I'm calling cap on that. I don't know what he's got going on, but I'm glad he's still hanging out. So maybe all those gifted subs, he figured he'd hang out for a little while. The average player is here for his weekly tax and financial advice, and he's grabbing cash. Mason D is 24 today. Let's go. Happy birthday, Mason D. Thanks for sharing part of your birthday, hanging out in chat here. Hopefully you have a good evening of activities planned for the birthday. Pokestone with the I'm out and the Wish Charmander. Is it time to talk about Moonbreon yet? It always is. Did I steal the Mets colorway for my logo? I used like basically the same orange as Charmander, and then just blue is one of my two favorite colors. I think they go together really well. My other favorite color is green. I'm a Mets, Jets, Rangers fan, so I guess blue-green makes sense. I don't think green and orange would have gone as well together. Blue and green, I guess, could have worked in some way, but I really like the blue and orange. Syracuse Orangemen have the same, the blue-orange color logo, too. Like Daddy saying, sorry, Earth. Professor Oak with the stonk charts. Julia flexing on us. At one point, would you consider shifting to an auction strategy? My buy it now have been selling slow and seeing tons of screenshots of auctions going over by now. Those are the exception. It does absolutely happen, but I think if you were to look deeper, it is very much the exception. I mean, I could be wrong here. There could be certain cards where it is just happening more and more. 2020 was a time that I would say strategically auctions made a lot of sense, and I did use some here and there. I did auction some through PWCC. I did auction some myself on eBay, but there's a time and a place for auctions, and generally speaking, this market isn't it, in my opinion. Items though, item by item, there are items that lend themselves better to auctions than others. Do not auction a super niche unlimited Japanese mid-era card that a lot of people probably don't even know or care about. Do not auction, in my opinion, things that are too niche, essentially. Things that are too niche are just going to be hampered by the fact that that given week that you auction it, people might not be seeking them out. Higher end things though, when you're trying to set a new all-time high, you can really make two bidders, if they really want it, you can really make them get the pocketbook out, get the checkbook out, and sharpen up the pencil, and you can really make them battle. And a lot of times, all-time highs are achieved via auction, because that's just the only way to get people to spend. It creates a sense of urgency, because if you don't buy it, someone else will. It will sell, a 99-cent auction. So there's a time, generally what I sell, it's just not for me. I have enough inventory. I have enough cash flow capital. My strategy is always buy it now. If and when I ever opt to, like as of today, I would just send to James. I would send to Z&G Emporium. He's charging 13.9%. That obviously, if you're under $100, it's significantly higher than that. So I wouldn't recommend sending under $100. But if I were to auction before I do it myself, I'd likely just send it to James, because he can have the headache, he can have all that, he can get it listed in with his block at kind of the event that goes on there. There's probably people that hang out and watch and bid for that. But yeah, generally speaking, it's just not something I need to do, so I don't go that route. Time and time again, when I'm setting the price for my buy it now listings, I'm looking at low list and it's X. I'm looking at auction and it's like anywhere between 40 and 60% of X. And there are many, many times where I'm looking at like James auctions, Rusty's auctions, Nick's auctions, Scott's auctions. I'm looking at those recent sold to set my buy it nows above and below the low list, and I'm selling. I'm selling a good rate. 2,000 listings, I'm selling 20-ish cards a day, about a 1% sell-through rate per day. very, very approximately, slightly under that, if anything. But then when I send offers and things like that, it gets up to that average. That's kind of what I target. I mentioned that recently in a video. eBay seller nirvana or reseller nirvana. Taylor P says, what would be a good way to grow my eBay? Any advice? Consistent posting? I think there's a great channel out there. It's called Daily Refinement. I would recommend you go watch them for, Daily Refinement. It's in the name. Daily improvement. Daily, just getting better. Yeah. Consistent posting is one. Having good photos is another. Having good titles. Having good descriptions. Using the eBay recommended listing specifics. You have to put the graded card in there. The grade, make sure you don't have errors. I've seen many, many times that someone sells an item and they have item specific. Let's say, I've got some Fortnite cards in front of me here, but let's say you're selling, a Nightlife and an Insight, and you sell similar from the Nightlight to go to the Insight, and you forget to change like the character name. PSA or eBay authenticity guarantee will reject an item. They will reject an item and ship it back to you if you're selling, say, a Charizard and have a Lugia item-specific character. You need to be careful that you don't misuse or make wrong specifics. So I don't use all of them. If you want to go to my eBay, click the link below, affiliate link below. If you buy anything over the next 24 hours, I'll get a kickback from that. But if you go look at my listings, you'll see what item specifics I use and which ones I don't. I tend to use the most broad ones: set, grade, grading company, and then sometimes I'll throw in WotC for manufacturer. Sometimes I'll throw in English, always for the language, Japanese where applicable. But I don't use the character name just because you have to change it on every one, and there might be times that I miss it. So those are my general ideas, but general thoughts, general bits of advice. Daily Refinement, though, is a very good YouTube channel, in my opinion, to follow with respect to that. To the point where the subs were gifted now, so we got a lot of woes and wows. And again, thank you. Thank you, Amplitude. Got a PSA card in today with a damaged case. Never seen this type of break, but the back groove is broke loose, but still attached. It's the groove that allows them to stack. Guess I should return. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Me personally, it's very rare that cards get damaged in the mail. I have a small stack of cards that someday need to be recased. I've never pushed it back, but I'm like a volume guy. I can sit on a card for a while and not make it be a big deal. If I was a collector and I just bought a small handful of cards here and there, I would just return it, refund it. That would be the easiest way. Completely don't knock anybody for taking that route. But a couple times that it's happened to me on the buying side, I've just put it into a pile and I'll recase someday. Dayflosion says, am I a member? People are testing to see if they were members, I guess. What does a member get? I'm not a member. The memberships are 99 cents a month. All you get for the membership is just the emotes. You get the emotes and you get the badges. If you have like a recurring membership over several months, your badge will change colors just to show your support. It's a very small amount of money, but it's more than you need to pay. Like, you don't need to pay to do the membership. If you want to support, show appreciation, if you want to have some silly emotes for chat, feel free to, but by no means should anyone feel pressured to, because all this content here on YouTube is free. Mr. Mime is French. What up, my fellow degenerates? Super Order Evolving on PC sold out immediately. Yeah, Evolving is something else. Let's see. So many members in chat now, it's crazy. I want a Machoke Flex so bad. 50 gifted, wow. Looks like Colson didn't get one. I'm seeing who got one and who didn't get one. I don't know if the chat's retroactive, though. If you get a gifted membership, I see Colson did get one, because I'm at 234, and he's saying, wow. And then at 236, I see him with the badge dropping Griddle Greaser Pete's. So, that's funny. A couple people noticed that they had it disabled. If you click on the gift where it shows that he gifted them, it will give you the option to do so. So, they're probably all claimed by now because we have 76 people watching. But for anyone who hasn't enabled it yet, in case any future subs are gifted, click on that gift and enable your ability to receive gifted memberships if you want to. Colson's flexing Machoke. Amplitude's working on getting his consignment rate down with Dan. Charvy woke up to an email. He got gifted a sub. How do I refund? Charvy wants a refund. Charvy wants to claim that refund. Colson's getting licks in chat. Professor Oak now has a badge, putting some trophies next to it. I completely jumped to the bottom in chat. Need to click above when someone gifts and click allow gifts on the channel. Dave Flosen's still trying to find out how. Oh, the phone might not work, especially if it's an iPhone. iPhone seems to just take all the fun away from everything. See, I don't have my one backlight taking care of my shadow. There, now it's better. And you can still see it a little bit. But productivity off the charts negative for me today. Yeah, I was in Discord way too much this morning. I was procrastinating working by talking about tax time. I was doing a little bit of tax time preparation, but we were having, not tax advice, never tax advice, but we were having a little bit of tax talk in the Pokenomics Discord. Always fun to have tax talk. Appreciate you, Shadowless Jack. I see we have 20 likes, 78 people watching. Let's see if we can get that up from here. Longa enjoys the lives too much to go back to work. Basic says, Dan, talk to Mike to let me in towers. Basic, did they say how many applicants they had? Because I know I did see a little bit of feedback from people in Discord and other places. 128 felt fairly low. 128 felt fairly low with a total prize pool of like $50,000 cash and I think $50,000 more in product. They're giving prize support to the tune of like $400 per member. Almost, I mean, per player, per competitor. When you factor in the MetaZoo product into prize support, they're giving away like $750, $800 worth of prize support per player. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Maybe they just don't have the space at that venue for 256, because obviously from 128, your next logical numbers would be 256, 512, 1024. I don't know how many you can reasonably get within a one-day tournament, though. As far as I understand, the Water Tower is a one-day tournament. So it might be venue, it might be just like time-wise to get through a tournament in a day. Well, I don't have any connection. I'm a MetaZoo partner. If I had a connection, if I had strings to pull to get basic caster in the Water Tower, I absolutely would. I do not have that though. Hopefully, I don't know if there's like a wait list or a list in case people drop. I don't know if you're still planning to go, but yeah, like 128 people traveling, some from around the country. Pretty reasonable to assume that some won't make it. I mean, some might just have things come up. Travel might get, they might miss their flight, whatever it may be. Hopefully you can get in. 500 people I see in the live chat, Basic said. Wow. I see the gifted memberships are still coming through. They come in waves, I guess. That's crazy. Are we all financially free yet? I'm not, but I'm on my path and I have my goals. We're working towards those goals. No PC 23, financial freedom incoming. How's it going, Java? It's very much Orlando hype season. We are now in the month of Orlando Collecticon. I've actually been in the background. I figured this might come up, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my plans for Orlando Collecticon. I don't have inventory being gathered yet, but I'm absolutely... My light just blinked. I don't know why. I'm absolutely planning to start getting inventory together like next week. Because this Sunday, today, I guess. It's Thursday. Today, 3 weeks from today, I'm flying out, which is crazy. I only have 2 full weeks left of work before my wife's actually off that whole week, midwinter recess up here in New York. So 2 full weeks of work. She's off all week. We're traveling to Orlando that Thursday. I can't wait. but I also like have a fair bit of work to do. I got to get shipments going down. I did get you can see my playmat already. Let me make sure none of my address or anything is on this, but you can see my playmat is ready to go. Not that I really need that for the convention, but yeah, this doesn't show any of my information. But this is like a table runner that I got. You can't really see. It's the same as the playmat, essentially, though. The table runner will just spread out on the table. It'll be held down. It'll go underneath my cases. And then in front of my table, it will drape down, and it will just have my branding, have my logo. I think I did it a little bit small. Like on the playmat, this works perfect. But hopefully it's big enough that people can read it from a ways away. Hopefully there's so many people standing in front of it all weekend that I guess you can't see it that well. But I need to get these things shipped down. I'm going to travel fairly light. I'm going to ship stuff down to either, I mean, we got a lot of people down in Florida. Ernesto, Ray, Thrifty, Professor Oak. There's a lot of people that have been offering to, hey, if you want to ship stuff down, I can bring it. So I really need to get on like next week sourcing some of the boxes so that I have heavy packs for Orlando, because as of right now I have 0. I've been looking a little bit, but I've not pounced on any, and I need to make sure those get in so I can have those ready. And then also I need to get just all my graded slabs together that I'm going to bring. One note on the whole graded slab thing, I had a mystery order that I didn't even realize was in the backlog. I think it's an 83 coin submission from 2020 that's on its way back to me. No idea what's in it. What I was doing in 2020, I would take a picture and I would just add that to the spreadsheet, and I would vaguely describe like, this is what I sent and the time that I sent it, the date. So I completely had no reference to that submission, but I just got like the return email from Ludkins. And along with that, there was another one that I did know was coming. That was, maybe I did have reference, 93 coins. Now that I say that, I'm looking at my spreadsheet, and I guess I did have reference, 93, not 83. What's in here? Ooh, 30 Charizard coins, Dragonite coins, more Charizard, Blastoise, Generations Premium Collection, Ball Collector's Chest. I didn't even see this spot on my spreadsheet before, but yeah, I have 93 coins incoming. And I have 200 PSA cards incoming, 100 of which are Bumblebee Pikachu. So if you need a Bumblebee Pikachu at Orlando Collecticon, mine are going to be priced to move, lowest on the market, under eBay sold, auction price, just ready to move them. Come find me. Yeah, that's kind of my quick Orlando overview. I'll continue on with chat. I'm like 14 minutes behind now. Jonathan Perry has the same colors since it's Q's cards and games. I got the same hex code for my colors. Oh yeah. I have somewhere I have a note around here that has my exact hex code so that I ensure that across different platforms, across different, whenever I order stuff, I'm getting the exact. Yeah, it's like a 6-digit, makes sense, hex, 6-digit code, letters and numbers referencing my colors. It is the Florida Gator colors as well. Taylor P says, as a relatively new seller, should I post my slabs as a buy it now or an auction? I just don't want to get burned on auctions. It's tough. I don't know how new of a seller you are. I don't know how low feedback you have. Auctions with super low feedback, you could get kind of wrecked. You could, but also you need to generate sales somehow so you can get that number up. I know a strategy some people do, like they just take a $5 single and maybe just sell it for like $3. Intentionally take some amount of a known loss, spend some amount of money building your rep up, whether it's 50 or 100. The difference between having 0 feedback and like 25 or 50 is pretty huge. So if you can take a loss of like $2 a card on a card that you would otherwise sell for $5, now you're going to sell it for $3 just to get that good rep, get that going. I think it's a reasonable way to just like build up an account to somewhere where people might trust you, then run some auctions. People might feel a little better. They might bid a little higher than they would have if it was still 0 or 10 or whatever it may be. But yeah, it all comes down to what you have and what your cost basis is, and if you need the cash flow or not. How do PSA 9 sell for you compared to CGC 9.5s? It depends on the card. It always depends on the card. I sell a lot of both of them. I sell overall more PSA 9s just because overall I have more PSA 9s. But liquidity, generally speaking, is higher on PSA 9s. If a CGC 9.5, a lot of people might look at it, oh, I pay around PSA 9 price and try to grade a PSA 10. So if you're trying to sell them for the same price, the CGC 9.5s will probably move well. If you're trying to get a premium out of the 9.5, it's going to sell less, right? Especially if it doesn't look like it can grade a 10. Thoughts on PWCC allowing extended bidding to all? I've seen some negative by people who buy on there, thinking that now they'll be able to, they'll have to pay higher prices. So from a seller standpoint, it's probably good. From a seller standpoint, it keeps more bidders in there longer till the end. You'll probably realize slightly higher prices, if anything, compared to how it was, all else equal. I don't really bid or sell on PWCC lately. I look at it periodically, but it's just not somewhere I'm focusing too much. I really miss what PWCC used to be, and I guess the closest thing to that now is James, the NG Emporium. Although one of the big things I loved about PWCC was the vault too. So if you could have the vault side and have eBay auction selling, buy it now selling, that would really be optimal. And maybe eBay Vault will become that in the coming years. Who knows? How low should you start an auction? $1. I don't want to get burned on an auction. I only do auctions 99-cent free shipping. I don't like starting auctions. Like if you really can't lose on an item and you've got $50 into it and the market value is like 100, maybe start it at $49.99. I think you just lose so many of those early clicks and engagement that the eBay algorithm, whatever it may be, it's just not on your side as much. If you're going to go auction, I say go big or go home, go all the way with it, 99-cent auction. There is obviously risk though. If it doesn't get exposure, if it doesn't get the bids, you might have to sell it at a loss. You might have to sell it for $3 free shipping. It costs you $4.50 to ship it. So know the risks, but that's the only way I go if I do auctions. How's it going, Mr. Walrus? Finally made alive. How's it going, Birch? Recommended listing are good to study up on. I mentioned I sent the secret rare Pikachu from Crown Zenith to PSA at $75 tier last week. Will it hit the PSA 10? It's live on auction right now, ending this Sunday. Big thanks to PK. That's awesome. I did actually this morning. I listened to PK's live from last night, and I heard that reference. That's great to hear it. I hope you do well. I hope you do well with that. Dan stonking on Fortnite. I bought a collection recently that had some Fortnite. It had some Harry Potter. It had some grading companies I've never bought before, never owned before. Here's a Toxicity V full art from, who is it? Is this AGS? Or no, Ace. Yeah, this is Ace. I've never owned an Ace Lab, but I kind of like it. It's interesting. I've never owned an Ace Lab until today in this collection. My goal is a set of PSA 9 Gold Stars. Would you approach this by going most expensive to least, or how would you recommend going about this? Everyone has their own theory behind this. Obviously, it's going to vary based on whether the price of these go up or down in the time that you're acquiring them. I don't know what your time frame is. Is your time frame to acquire them in the next week or the next 5 years? If I were to start today by trying to acquire one of each, I would probably not go by most expensive to least expensive, nor reverse. I would not pin myself to some set of rules because I think you would end up spending more. If and when a Rayquaza Gold Star came up first through auction and I could get it for a good price, I'd start there. I'd start at the most expensive. But if and when the market just doesn't have any, the only ones are buy it now is listed like 50% above last sold, and Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. If those are the first three that come up, and if you don't know, those are ones that mass printed, not really mass printed, but there was an issue several years back where a lot of those escaped the factory. Those are going to be your cheapest ones likely. So if those ones, I had the opportunity to get the best deal first, I'd go with those first. It's all about, and then if there's one that you love, like say you love Mewtwo Gold Star above all else, and you just need to have that one first, that's reasonable too. Like there's no right or wrong way to do it. The optimal way to do it would only be known in hindsight, and you're not going to have hindsight. So you can only work with the information you have. I would just set my goal for what's my budget, what's my time frame, and I would start looking there. I would set up an eBay search, PSA 9 Gold Star. and start looking for auctions. Look at the buy it nows as they're listed. And yeah, good luck. It's a great set. I assembled it years ago and I sold it in March of 2020 pre-boom. I sold it for about $13,000, I think. And then within like 6 months after selling it, it was probably 5 times that. It was probably about $60,000. But I bought a number 1 Pikachu, which I did well on with the proceeds from that sale. So I did all right. Pokestone says for eBay item titles, cut and paste from eBay sold because you know it's sold. I tweak mine slightly so it's not an exact repeat. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, look at what's working. Look at the actual sold listings because they clearly work to some extent. Look at them for item specifics. Look at them for titles. Look at Rusty's listings. Look at James' listings, my listings, Scott's listings, Nick's listings. There's a lot of listings out there that give you ideas. And look at James' scans. Look at my photos. Look at other people. Like, you might get an idea for what you like and what you don't like, and then just make your own from all that. From the kind of like what you should do with YouTubers, right? You shouldn't watch just one. You shouldn't take anyone's word for gospel. You should listen to passively a bunch of different people and get their opinions and then make your own from that. Am I making any Crown Zenith singles plays? Nope. I'm going to crack a little bit more probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. I'll do a live stream one of these evenings. Other than that, though, I am not making any plays in anything ultra modern Pokemon right now. Then what criteria or qualifications does an eBay seller need to have to be issued an eBay affiliate link for their store? Any advice for affiliate links? I would say go to just look up eBay Partner Network is what it's called. I forget exactly how it worked. I did it around 2 years ago now. I did it shortly before I created the YouTube channel. And I want to say you just apply for it. Probably if you have a ton of negative feedback, if you have a ton of issues, they'll probably decline you. I don't think there were any like set in stone requirements though. Just Google eBay Affiliate Network or eBay Partner Network, sorry, and read through their terms, read through the rules. Like, there are certain things you can't do. You can't buy stuff through your own affiliate link. Definitely don't do anything that's going to get you banned from it. So make sure you're aware of the rules and how you can share it, where you can share it, what you can do with it. Other than that, yeah, I would just start on Google and see what they say. I covered that one. Yeah, sorry if it takes me a while to get to the questions. I do hit them all eventually, but sometimes it takes me a little bit to get through them. Basic trainer going through the whole thing of emotes. I should have at least an emote slot or 2 more open now after Amplitude dropped those. Matt M says, I think Dan has one of the cheapest memberships I've seen. It is I think, unless somebody's grandfathered into a lower rate, I believe 99 cents was the lowest I could physically set it to. And shout out to Top 10 Pokemon. Probably a lot of people who watch my channel watch his. Top 10 Pokemon has 99-cent subscriptions as well. I think, like, I talk about him in the live streams. I've only had him for a few live streams now, but I've definitely been talking about him. He shouts him out like mid-video, and after having watched like 2 or 3 of his videos in a row, I'm like, I should look into this. I do so many live streams. That's where people can get the emotes and the badges and all that. So I used him as inspiration to get me to go with the super low 99 cents. I think no one has to do it, but I think most people could justify it if they consume. If you consume all my content, I'm not saying you owe it to me by any means. Nobody owes it to me. It's all free. You don't have to pay any of it. But it would be reasonable to justify if you're consuming, what am I doing? 6 hours of live a week. And then, so probably like 7 hours of content a week, 28 hours of content a month for $1. Pretty reasonable. But you know what's better? Infinitely better. That much content for $0 too. And that's perfectly fine. If Evolving Skies never gets a reprint, do you think the sky's the limit for those booster boxes? What's the sky? $1 million? I can confidently say Evolving Skies booster boxes will never be $1 million, because if and when it hits that, I'm going to be dead anyways. So I can't be proven wrong. Or we went through hyperinflation. I should say in real terms, Evolving Skies will never be $1 million booster box. If we go through a Germany hyperinflation post-war, if we go through Zimbabwe hyperinflation and we start printing $100 trillion notes, then it could be any number, right? But no, I think it's unreasonable to assume that it will ever do what like base set unlimited did. I think a lot of people are looking at base set unlimited booster box prices today and during the boom and thinking that their sword and shield sets will do that. And I just think that's very misguided. And I think it's very wrong, but who knows? I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, we're all going to be doing really well if you own anything Pokemon, if Evolving Skies goes to 30,000. Dan and tax advice, name a better duo. Unorthodox says, hey Dan, love the video of you breaking down revenue over the years. Do you plan to DD into net figures and how you streamline your processes over the years? Thanks. I don't think I'll ever show, like, shout out to Old Skool Pokemon. Shout out to Nick. I think the comment I left on his video the other day was unrivaled transparency. The amount of transparency he gives you, giving his sales and his buys, giving you his net is unrivaled, exactly as I said in the comments. I'm not comfortable sharing all that. I think there's one, I don't know how much value or use it provides to people. I know that curiosity is certainly there and people probably wonder, but I don't want to say or show what I made in 2022 because it's not realistic. It doesn't do anything for you. And it's not realistic or representative of what I did either. There are some cards. I mean, I showed the 2 cards I sold to Rusty, the card I sold my short a few weeks ago. Unrealized capital gains more than anything. What I like, I would, to give that number, I would have to give 10 hours of context with it to make it feel comfortable, to make myself feel comfortable giving it. And one, the only thing that would be clipped and taken would be, oh, this is how much he made. And there would be some amount of negativity. Some people would be like, oh, why is he flexing? Some people would be like, oh, I can't believe it's only that much. Because no matter what I sell, no matter what I make, like me making my video saying I grossed 1.2 million in sales, some people did that with one card. Some people did that with one card in 2022. And it was all net profit. Like some people sold a card for that much, not necessarily Pokemon, but yeah, it's all relative. There's nothing much to be gained from it. I think showing you the gross and getting into where I sold and why I sold certain things where I sold them, it's kind of like the whole teaching to fish thing. Teaching you how to fish and then just like, oh, this is how many fish I caught on the lake this weekend. That doesn't really do anything for you, right? Going through the mechanics, this is why you go to this fishing spot. This is why you use this lure. This is why you, this is the technique for casting and reeling. Those are functionally and mechanically like relevant, I think. Whereas how many fish I caught, how much I netted is just not relevant. So, and then the whole, I've seen some videos before where people speculate on people's tax situations and whether or not they're claiming things. And it just opens me up to potential negativity and people claiming I'm doing or not doing certain things. And I'm very comfortable with what I do with my taxes and how I file them. And that's between me and the IRS, right? That's not between anyone else. So sharing too much can definitely just lead to issues that I'm not going to open myself up to. Dan's the tax man. The Pokeflips episode with Squeaks was fire. Just watched it. Appreciate you. Basic said 500 people signed up. Question, so much talk is focused around modern slabs, reprints, and modern sets. What topics can we discuss or bring up to start talking about vintage cards again? They seem to be neglected these days. That's the way it's always going to be. The thing is, like, the cards that are being talked about now as ultra modern, they will be neglected in 5 years in many ways because 5 years later, there will be 5-year newer things that everyone is talking about. That's just the way it goes. And one thing about modern is it's new, it's fresh. We have new things to learn, new set lists, new Pokemon. With Fossil first edition, it's the same set it was 23 years ago, right? It's the same 62 cards. It's the same 15 hollows, 15 non-hollows, and 32 commons and uncommons. The pops are the pops. The prices are the prices. They move. They go up and down. The pops go up. The boxes go open. The box price moves. But you kind of run out of things to talk about, right? I mean, check in quarterly or annually into the pop reports and the pricing And from there, it's like, what more is there to do? There are niches within the niches, getting really down the rabbit hole and into errors and things like that. But at the end of the day, people talk about modern because it's new and it's different. And there's always going to be a new modern, though, that always gets talked about. Just learned the top 5 ways to make money on Pokemon with ZNG. Currently buying all the old maiden coin I can find. Yeah, that was a funny short. I don't anticipate doing a 24-hour stream anytime soon, but who knows? Who knows? Hopefully basic. Hopefully basic will do one soon. Am I on the FIRE plan? Financial independence, retire early. I do consume a ton of content in the FIRE space. The Reddit, there's a ton of different bloggers that I used to read. There's a ton of books that I read in that sphere. I really like the concept of it. I don't envision myself ever being on a beach, on a golf course for the rest of my life from a young age, but financial security, having FU money, having 25 times annual expenses in the bank or in retirement accounts to live off the 4% in perpetuity. Very, very attractive concepts to me. Your average players has been starting to sell off the PC, no PC 23. Yeah, Orlando's going to be crazy. I can't wait. Hey everyone, question: top 3 set card releases in terms of artwork, disregarding price point, released in the past 3 years. I'm not the ideal person for that, just because I am not like right up to speed on ultra modern at all times. I do a lot of what I do in vintage. I do ultra modern kind of churn through Troll and Toad Evo, but not a ton of hands on. Not opening a lot of the sets. That said, I guess I'll try. 3 years should envelop Hidden Fates, right? Or was Hidden Fates 2019? Let me pull up Bulbapedia quick so I can see 3 years ago exactly what that includes. But the meme answer that I can give is just the last 3 sets, because every time a new set comes out, it's the best set of all time, right? That joke. So Hidden Fates was 2019. I was pretty sure it was 2019, so I can't count that. I'll say Celebrations for one. People are probably going to think it's boring. It's all reprints, but I just love the set. We've had 25 years of amazing art throughout Pokemon, and Celebrations just grabbed a little bit from each year, right? So I love that aspect of it. Really loved it. This is not by any means in order, but I would say Celebrations is 1. And then Evolving Skies is one that a lot of people are going to say, so I'm just going to say another boring one, another crowd pleaser, so that I don't get booed off the stage. Cosmic Eclipse is outside of the 3-year window as well, so I can't use that. That's another one that a lot of people and myself would go to. Crown Zenith was really fun. I'm probably biased because it's the first set that I've opened in quite a while. Like, I'm saying 3 sets that I've opened. Celebrations, I opened 200-something packs, created my own master set. And Crown Zenith, I opened at release. And then Evolving Skies, I've opened a little bit here and there. But probably those 3 answers, probably fairly boring. And that's all English. Some people will be very offended that I didn't pick a Japanese set. But a lot of people would probably say V-Star Universe, VMAX Climax, sets like that. So many great sets. So many great sets. Professor Birch, counting down the days to Charlotte. I should be there, but I'm not positive. Retro's a member from Amplitude. Pokestone says buy it now with offers. I don't use offers myself. People will send them still. I do buy it now, only no offer, so that they either just buy or don't buy. Just buy, like I do the shorts once a week. I do buy or buy. Would you buy this card at this price, or would you sell? Another buy or buy is like either buy it or goodbye. Like, leave. I don't want to hear an offer. It's available for this price. Buy it or don't buy it. And it saves me with 2,500 listings. It saves me a lot of time on messaging. So occasionally, if people send me a message saying, hey, I'd pay this, and I look at it and it's reasonable, I'll send them an offer. I can send them offers, but they can't send me offers because it would be too much. Yeah, and Pokestone says the same thing. Not at my volume. How easy do you think it would be to make $250,000 per year off a Pokemon business one-man operation? It's so relative. I don't know. I don't know what you're going by, what you're going off of. I mean, again, I don't want to get into too specific of things, but I know people who are doing that. I, again, not representative of what I might do in future years, some amount of it being long-term capital gains. I've done that in multiple years. So are you starting from zero? How much cash do you have? How much drive do you have? How much knowledge do you have? What kind of allocations are you getting from your distributors if you already have them? Um, it all replies. It all relies on the answers to all those questions. So somebody starting with 250 grand, somebody starting with 25 grand with no knowledge, no experience, it's nearly impossible. Barring some boom that you get super lucky on. Somebody with $1 million, knowing the market, having access to warehouse, to store everything, having access to an eBay account with the rep, with the ability to sell through this stuff, having somebody with a contracted eBay account, it's more plausible the more things you add in. And Squeak says years of building. I'm doing what I'm doing now because of years of building. Look at my video, not this Monday, but last Monday. 6 years, I didn't take anything out. And then everything 10x'd. And then I started taking a lot out. But some amount of that was luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So yeah, Alex says exactly what I'm saying in many more words. Depends on how much starting capital and a million other variables. Absolutely. I guess one way of answering my question is, out of all the people who do Pokemon TCG as a full-time business, what percent make 250,000? Are you talking gross or net? Are you talking net after taxes? That's like, there's so many questions I have to ask with respect to the individual and their abilities and their capital. I also need to get you to clarify on like, what exactly are you asking? Are you talking $20,000 a month net after taxes, or $20,000 a month like gross pre-tax? Very, very different questions, but very, very few. And then what percent of all as a full-time business? So you do say as a full-time business, but very, very few people are making that much money, even in full-time business. How's it going, Andy? Nice to see you in here. I'm going to try to get caught up on chat. I'm 15 minutes behind, and then I'm going to show some stuff. What's your favorite coin? I'm getting back into it and may pick up new Morgan and Peace dollars this year in proofs. I really love the wheat cent. It's kind of a boring answer, but it's where most of my nostalgia lies. The Lincoln wheat cent from 1909 to 1958. It's just it's cool. The new pennies are copper plated zinc. Pre 1982, pennies were actually copper. I forget 95% or I forget what percent copper they were exactly, but pretty much copper. I'm gonna look it up quick. 95%. I thought it was 95%. So pre 1982, they were 95% copper. Some other honorable mentions: the American Silver Eagle, just the bullion coin, the bullion round. Mercury dimes, walking $50. I really love Morgan dollars as well. So many beautiful coins out there, but those are a few. I still think back to my Whitman wheat cent folder though. That's where my main nostalgia lies, and I still have it too. I managed to start with my childhood binder to flip in 2020, then continued to buy and flip raws, funded half my PC, but now struggling, feel like grading modern is the way to go now. It's a way to go. It's not the only way to go, is all I'll say. There's a lot you can do. Do I collect Pokemon? Oh, he's talking to MP Pokemon. I do collect one of every coin from every product I've opened. Steve is also getting his Ludkin card returned. For example, if you look at aerospace engineer professions, you get an idea of the spread of salaries. So what's the spread for Pokemon? It's very, very hard too, because a lot of people in aerospace engineering, in chemical engineering, it's a W-2 income. It's very straightforward. I made what I made. In Pokemon business, buying and reselling, inventory, capital intensive businesses, you can not saying fudge numbers, but numbers can move around a lot, and what you net in a given year isn't necessarily representative of what you really made in a lot of ways. There's capital gains on certain items. There are times where people will reinvest everything into their business so that they don't have as big of a tax obligation, whether they're cash accounting versus accrual accounting, whether they're having an inventory that is varying year over year. So it's very, very impossible. Compared to a W-2 income is the most straightforward thing. Like W-2 income is literally just you make this is your marginal tax rate, this is your tax brackets, pay your taxes. In a Pokemon business, all those things just they muddy it up a lot. They make it a lot more complex. Pokemon's new job is for the IRS. Ignore his question. Do people understand how market caps work? Imagine how large of a market cap Evolving Skies would have if it reached over 500 a box. It's all relative, right? Jake did a presentation once for our Pokenomics Patreon, one of his monthly presentations. The Michael Jordan rookie card, 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan, has a larger market cap than basically all of WotC Pokemon by itself. So in some ways, the market caps of these Pokemon cards are very, very low relative to sports. But relative to lesser known, smaller TCGs, things like that, they're high. So it's all your frame of reference, and it's hard to say whether it's justifiable or not, right? Time will tell. In hindsight, it will all become clear. Mr. Walrus says, question, listening to this in the car. My wife just asked, where's the other guy? Thinking this was Pokeflips. Should I leave her? I would say, you see, you're taking it as a negative. Hopefully you are still listening and she's still listening. I would take that as a positive. She's engaging enough to realize that something's amiss, right? She's heard my voice enough. She's heard Nick's voice enough. She's actually, maybe she's absorbing some of it. Maybe in a few years, she'll be an expert in all things Pokemon. So I take that as a very big positive, and you should definitely stay with Mrs. Walrus. And I'm not just saying that so Mrs. Walrus allows Mr. Walrus to continue to engage in live chats, but not just trying to get on her good side. Whereas Professor Birch tells her to start packing. That's funny. Was the trophy Pika Chloe bought recently from you? No. I sold hers is raw. I actually just recently sold. I always get a little stressed out when somebody with like the really long nails is holding a card with their nail so close to the card. She's one of them, and then Don Diego Trading. Anytime I see them opening cards or handling, especially very expensive cards, I get a little stressed. But clearly they've got it sorted out. They grade cards, they achieve high grades, they know what they're doing. But no, she bought, hers was raw. I said all that because I recently saw her holding it raw in one of her Instagram pictures. But no, hers was a different copy. I actually, before I sold mine, I messaged her to see if she would share what she paid for hers, and she was keeping that private, which is completely reasonable and fine. I'm keeping the sale price of mine private because the buyer asked that I not share, but she did share with me a couple other sales that she was aware of. What was your job before you quit to be full-time? I was a chemical engineer for 10 years. And before that, I never worked another job like proper before being a chemical engineer out of college. I never worked for like a grocery store. I never worked food service. My dad was self-employed when I was growing up. So I used to work with him, welder, mechanic, fabricator. Used to work on like farm equipment, cars, different kinds of metalworking, things like that. So yeah, I went from a little bit of like, my uncle was a contractor too, so I'd help my dad and my uncle from time to time on like handyman type jobs, type work, getting my hands dirty. And then I went to be an engineer for a decade. Now I've been doing Pokemon full time for over a year and a half. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see where I go after that. But that's been my journey so far. Rhinocelot is here to learn how to fish. Hopefully I am doing a decent job. Is now a good time to offload bulk? And if so, where would be the best place to send that out? Hit up Mile High Pokemon. I don't know if he's the best. I don't know if he has the best rates, but he's someone that I met in Denver last year. He has a YouTube channel. He talks about grinding bulk. Nick, Old Skool Pokemon too. I don't know what kind of bulk it is, but Nick does the TCG player grind, modern bulk grind, vintage bulk as well. Yeah, I would hit up one of those. Troll and Toad is there. The rates are a lot lower. Historically speaking, I remember selling bulk for 6-7 cents, a common and uncommon. These days, it's like a penny a piece. If that's good or bad, if that's going to go up or down, I have no idea. Taylor P says, I hear you mentioned Troll and Toad Evo. What is that exactly? It's basically like a fulfillment by Amazon, but it's Troll and Toad selling my Pokemon cards on their website. If you search Troll and Toad Evo, I have a video like a year and a half ago where I go through what it is, and I would just recommend to watch that. Unfortunately, it's closed though. Anything I said in there about opening an account, it's a closed system now. Dan will teach you to fish, but he tells you to use a stick and a piece of bacon. MetaZoo is going to be huge in the future. Agree. Huge is relative, right? It's not going to surpass Pokemon in my estimation. I think it's going to survive though. I think it's going to do well. I'm really interested to see how the competitive scene does for it. I'm really interested to see where it goes, and I'm happy to be partnered with MetaZoo, having fun with it. Pokey Martin watched the Squeaks podcast twice. That's how good it was. What would happen to the MetaZoo market if they ever find an alien or a Bigfoot on this planet? They'd probably be in trouble because they'd probably sue. They'd sue for copyright infringement. How to be millionaire. Step 1, inherit $1 million. I got back a submission where I sent Trainer Gallery, Eevee, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. Eevee was 9, the rest were 10s. Would you sell the 3 10s together, sequential, or split them up? Never. I don't care about sequential certs. I don't think it's a thing. It kind of surprises me that some people care so much. I always say the single item is the best way to sell almost always, because there might be people looking at your listing that have the Flareon or the Jolteon or the Vaporeon. You need someone, 1, that has enough money to buy all 3 at once, and 2, needs all 3 or is willing to sell one of their others. So in my opinion, I don't think there's going to be a premium there, and I would just sell them individually. And I would recommend that. There's literally, I can't think of a single thing where I would recommend selling 2 items together. I think it's always, unless you're like, if you're selling something so cheap, you need to sell multiple together to make shipping make sense. That makes sense. But if you're selling individual cards, especially in the $50 to $100 plus range, never, almost never. And I could be wrong though. Like there could be that person out there who's going to pay an extra $20 a card to get sequential. I'm just so far removed from that. It doesn't make sense to me. So you do benefit a little bit, right? Like you can ship 1 slab for $4, but you can also ship 3 slabs for about $4 or $5. So you benefit a little bit with shipping too. But that's my take on that. Have I sent out any cards at $15 bulk? It only opened yesterday, so I've not yet sent any out. If I had to guess, I don't know if there's an expiration on it yet, but I'll probably send 200 to 300 this month. Nothing crazy. I want to get long-term where I average 100 a week for the year. About 5,000 cards I want to send this year, but I don't care to front load them. I think by the end of the year, I think we'll have cheaper grading. I think we'll have 13, 12. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe even 10. I don't think we'll get 10. I still think I'll beat James in my bet, but I have no rush. I still have a lot of inventory to list. So probably 200 to 300 cards. Professor Oak says, wait, what's happening in Orlando? There actually is, I'm sure he's joking about the fact because he's going to Collecticon in a few weeks, but there's also an event this weekend, right? I think Gem Mint Pokemon. I just listened to a video of his this morning where he talked about a signing event. Was it Harada? Orlando Regionals? If it's not this weekend, it's pretty soon, I think. I don't do pineapple on pizza. Is anyone streaming or recording from Orlando? I don't know. I won't be. I want to live in the moment. If I pull out my phone and try to record, make content, I'll be pulling myself out of the moment and I won't enjoy myself as much. Um, um, I see one of the wrenches working in chat a little bit. Let's see if I can get caught up. Mr. Walrus's family does pineapple on burgers also. I don't think I sold the Typhlosion. Is PSA going through grading too quickly that the market will implode? It hasn't yet. I don't think so. I think 20 million cards. I think 1.5 to 2 million cards a month would be too much. I think 1 million cards a month that they're doing right now is plenty. Hopefully they don't go too much higher than that because I think that would be too much. Mr. Walrus says that emote is worth more than 99 cents. Charge me $2.99. I might do higher tiers down the line, but if I do, it will include some amount of product in my monthly breaks. I haven't sorted it out yet, though. Tribe says, do you play Scarlet and Violet? I bought them, but I don't play them. Same as the last few generations. I just don't have the time. I'm not making the time to play them. A little bit of free time I get to play video games. I play Old Skool RuneScape. A 20-year-old. So much of my life is just living in nostalgia, and my video game choice of Old Skool RuneScape is the same. Is PSA grading too quickly? Are they being inconsistent with grades or making mistakes? I think they're making the same amount of mistakes and being as inconsistent as they have for the entire time I've been involved with them. They've always been more inconsistent than my preference would be. I've never valued PSA 10s highly because of that. I've always been a PSA 9 guy. Now I'm more of like a raw card guy, or for very, very cheap or nostalgic to me cards, I'll keep higher grades. Question to chat, are you still going to watch after Dan shaves his beard? Dan won't shave, he'll look like a child, and he won't be respected by chat. I don't think I'm going to shave. I think I'm just going to trim before Orlando. We'll see. Yeah, they definitely make mistakes. They're human, right? Everyone at PSA is a human. They have a little bit of AI technology that they bought with Gentleman. I don't know if they're using that, but there's going to be errors for sure. I saw someone in a Facebook group crack a Mario Pika from a PSA 6 and got a 10. The 6 was likely due to a dent, so getting the 10, PSA could have just missed it on the second time. There's this weird thing, though, where, like, if a dent gets a 6, what happens, any given dent, if you were to just make it less significant, make it smaller, make it not as harsh, at what point does that transition from being a 9 or a 10 to a 6? Like, severity matters, and it's just crazy at PSA because it's literally a 10 or a 6. And there might have been the first person to deem like, oh, that's a crease, that's going to be an auto 6. And the next person was like, no, that's just a factory lip. That's a 10. So it's not even necessarily, and one thing you always got to have awareness of, I don't know the person, I don't know who made the claim. People could just make stuff up too, right? Like I could take a picture of this raw Skyridge Charizard, and then I could show all the issues with it, and I could just show one in a case saying, oh yeah, this is the same one. It got a 3 first, and then it got an 8. I can just make that up, right? Unless they did a video of it and they showed the hollow pattern and really, I don't know. I jumped to the bottom. Bullish on graded code cards. They are all one of ones. Seen any uptick in MetaZoo sales? I haven't collected the cards after it got to be too much in terms of quantity of promo / special sets. I've seen similar. I mean, same thing as in Pokemon. The singles are the best out of the gate. A lot of people getting the new set, whether they're grading, whether they're creating decks, and sales just trickle down from there. So Seance is stronger than UFO, but Seance is weaker than it was right at Seance release. Native is coming out in a couple months. I expect that to be strong out of the gate, trickling down from there. Kind of like the normal trend. Graded codes or graded energy, which you're taking? Neither. Imagine going to college only to sell cards, then telling those people to not buy them. I Yeah, when I did my video, not this Monday, but the last Monday, where I talked about like just my sales, my life, and 2018 I had my first child, 2020 I had my second child. I got my master's between those two times too. I completely forgot to mention that in the video, but I was spread thin. I was spread very thin, being a father, a husband, having a house that I was paying a mortgage on, buying a second house in 2019, selling that house in 2020, renovating the new house in 2020, getting my master's, and then ultimately quitting my job a year after I got my master's in engineering management. um, don't forget your time, your accountant, your mileage to and from etc. Are you able to write off your trips to CAC? Absolutely. I mean, when I go somewhere to sell stuff, that's a business trip. Um, Definitely consult with your accountant, but me personally, yeah, absolutely, that's a business trip. Um, Bullish on wives. My wife asked me if I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh again. I just nod. Oh yeah, Pokey Chloe and Dean's was a 2022. Mine was a 2014. Um, I did not get my PE. I did the first exam. I did the engineer in training. I was underway doing my PE, but I took a pause on doing my PE because I was getting my master's, and my intent was to get my PE after my master's, but Pokemon was so insane during the hype, during the mania, then ultimately I quit my job. Maybe someday, just to keep my brain working, I'll go back and challenge myself to get my PE in chemical engineering, but at this point, I'm not working on it. Question for Dan: what percent of soft Pokemon people could frame a wall, and why is it below 1%? I have no idea. But yeah, very lucky. I was very lucky to be born into the family I was. I know how to work on my car, work on various things on my house, plumbing, heating, a little bit of electrical, mild light contracting, building, demo, all different kinds of stuff. And it's great because those trades are expensive to hire. It's expensive to hire, especially in the dead of the night, in winter when your furnace quits working. And I was able to diagnose it, troubleshoot it, and the next morning I was out there getting a hot surface igniter to fix my furnace mid December, whenever that was. Um What's one Pokemon conspiracy theory you actually believe in? Ugh. What's one Pokemon conspiracy you believe in? I think Pokemon, I don't know if it's a widespread conspiracy theory. I think most people would probably generally understand it and agree with it. But I think Pokemon intentionally underprints product. I think Pokemon intentionally, the last thing you want to do is overshoot. The last thing you want to do is overshoot and have like a post 1999 bubble pop where base set unlimited booster boxes are selling for $40. You definitely don't want to have too little product that you can't sell it into the boom. But if you print too much, like Pokemon was lucky in some ways. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but they went 10 years. They were lucky they didn't die in that 10-year period because I mean, that boom was nuts and it popped real hard. And had there been too much product out there, it could have not come back. So they need to tread lightly. They need to be careful. I would say that they probably intentionally have certain products. Like, I don't know which ones specifically. They might take Evolving Skies though. They might intentionally just consciously like, I don't want to reprint Evolving Skies because I want everyone on every future product release to question whether or not this is the next Evolving Skies. Ultra Prism was one of them where it just didn't get much print runs and it's a very expensive box because of it. So I think they intentionally do some of that. I think they care about the secondary market to the extent that they actually pay attention and they consciously do some things like that. PCA Gaming has a good one here. Very, very good example. I have a pair of miscut cards that fit together. So the bottom of one card is the next, gotta sell those together. That makes perfect sense. That is where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. I think in most instances, especially when you're talking about anything as simple as just certs, every cert is unique. Like, they really don't matter that much. But if you have something where here's a miscut card, here's a miscut card, well, there's a lot of miscut cards out there. But how many times can you have a pair where literally you can see on the sheet how they were oriented? So that makes sense to me. Rusty, count on Rusty to be the one to point out a very niche situation where selling things together makes sense. I absolutely agree there, and I would do the same. Question: when do the invoices go out for all these questions? The timing of my video was funny because my video was in no reference to any current drama events. But there was a drama event going on over the weekend with respect to paying or charging for advice, things like that. I do consultations. I have a paywall Patreon. By no means does anyone need to participate in them if they're not right for them. If I had the ability to talk to my past self in 2014 when I got into this, if I could have spent 30 minutes with myself, I could provide $10,000 worth of value on just how to do things the right way, the mistakes I went through. And a lot of that, to be honest, I share for free on YouTube. I've shared it for free in my hundreds of hours of Pokeflips and live streams and videos, Q&A. So for me, like, I do consultations, but I don't really hardly advertise them. If you're interested in one-on-one, I do that. It's fairly expensive though. My time is limited. My time is valuable. A lot of people probably have no need for it whatsoever, but I've done dozens of consults where the people left having a personalized answer. Oftentimes, it's not even the first time I've gotten the question. It's just, hey, do you want to go through hundreds of hours of backlog of videos to find the 30 minutes relevant to you? Do you want to spend 50 hours browsing through my videos to find the 30 minutes that's relevant to you? Or do you want to just get a one-on-one in a phone call and get them all answered on demand on the spot? And I can send you links to look deeper, and I can help you with whatever. By no means does anyone have to do it. Same thing with the membership. Some people get really like butthurt about dudes charging 99 cents for emotes, emojis. You don't have to buy it. It's kind of a meme. Like I tell you not to. By no means, like, don't pay for Pokemon advice if it hurts your feeling that some people charge for it. But fact of the matter is that there are too many free videos out there that the amount of time it would take you to pinpoint down the exact answer to your question, some people value their time more than that, right? Like, well, I watch 50 hours of Pokemon YouTube content a week, so why would I ever pay? Not everyone is the same as you, right? And I'm not talking to you, Mr. Walrus. I'm not talking to anyone in particular. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, there are people out there that make $200,000 a year, more than I've ever made in a yearly salaried position, that they just want to get all the answers quick from somebody who knows what they're doing and have been doing it for several years and have some expertise in some of those areas. So yeah, if you don't like that I do consultations, don't buy them. If you don't like that I sell emotes for 99 cents a month, don't buy them. If you don't want to get into a paywall Patreon where we do deep data dives, whatever it may be, don't go into it. Go into one of the free ones. Shout out Professor Oak. Shout out, Rattle's got one. E4 has one. Squeaks has one. There's so much free content, so many free Discords. I do so much free content as well. Like if you want answers from me, come in here. Look, I'm answering for 2 hours straight, all the questions for free. I do it on Pokeflips every other week too, for free. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. I answer a lot of stuff, but I don't answer it all. I might say that's too much. I can't get to that one, but I do answer most of my DMs. At the end of the day, I didn't understand all the drama around it. It was kind of weird to me, but let me go on to the next question. I'm trying to get close to catching up to chat, and then I answer one really, really long. So my local store has some Evolving Skies ETBs for $44, and I'm seeing them online for a bit more. Would you buy to possibly hold for increased value or to sell now? The $44 seems a good investment. I don't like investing in Pokemon product. It's so dependent on your situation. You have credit card debt. Are you putting it on a credit card and paying 20% interest so that you can appreciate 10% per year? It's all relative. I personally have a ton of inventory. Tons of inventory. I don't call it an investment though. It comes down to you though. It comes down to you. There will be a hot tub live stream in Orlando. Mr. Mime is French, is a sheet metal fabricator. Awesome. Yeah, welding, plasma cutting, all different kinds of stuff. But it's been a while. It's been a long while. It's been a while since I've worked with my dad and helped with any of that stuff. He's still running his own business. He's in his 50s now. How old is he? Yeah, he's mid 50s now. By no means, nowhere near retired, but he's definitely winding down from where he was 10 years ago. He's taking the pedal off the metal, taking the letting off the gas a little bit. Enjoying the fruits of his earlier labor. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to grind. I'm trying to do what I can do. Less so than I was a few years ago before kids, but I'm trying to do what I can do to set myself up for later in life. Old Skool RuneScape is my ultimate nostalgia. It was such a part of my childhood. Did you ever own a party hat? I had some back in the day. It's sad and crazy to think of. I used to merch with pumpkins and with Easter eggs and with Santa hats. I remember when Santa hats were 3 mil, and I remember when they were 300K. I was buying Santa hats for 300K and selling them for 350K. It's crazy to think about that. Unfortunately, when I got done with RuneScape, like original RuneScape, that account still exists. I can log into it on RuneScape 3, but I converted everything into cash, the worst thing to have it in, and then I quit the game. Like the worst things to have stuff in is either cash because that gets devalued over time, or items that end up getting power creeped out, like having your money in Absol whips when the next power creep comes in. So unfortunately, I had it all in cash. um, let's see. Yeah, Mr. Walrus is section 70. Retro and I are section 71. As a frugal cardboard handler, how did you manage your house buying experience? You know how I've kind of joked before, you can't buy Apple stock and then PSA grade it and then get a premium. You actually can, to an extent, buy a house in a way that allows you to get a premium out of it. I bought a short sale that had a torn out master bathroom, and it needed not a lot of work. It needed a decent amount of work. I bought a house for like 160K and I needed to put like 40K into it. That was with me doing the work, my dad doing the work, my uncle helping with the work. Painted everything, new light fixtures, 3 entirely new bathrooms. Well, 2.5 bathrooms. So I bought like a fixer upper and fixed it up. Being frugal, being handy, having the intersection of those things, having a 20% down payment ready to go, having 50K in cash ready to renovate the house for cash, that allowed me to get a $250,000 house for $200,000. Those are estimations. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I kind of did bring that into buying a house. And some people do that for a living. Some people flip houses for a living, right? Um, is Secret Jungle Pika accepted at this point? Isn't there a video of it? I do believe there's a Pika video where it was the not the Bumblebee Pikachu, but the what do they call it? There's the one Pikachu Black Star promo that comes out first edition from Jungle. Yeah, I think that there's a video of that somewhere. Alex confirms the same. If you value someone's advice, you should also value their time. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to put in there, a funny quote of free advice is usually worth the price, meaning that you need to be careful. There's a lot of great free advice out there. I think there's a lot of great free guidance. There's also terrible advice. You watch some TikTok videos, some random YouTube videos. I've seen some people say some very cringeworthy things. And you always need to make sure that you're getting information from someone who actually knows some of what they're talking about. Um, is Pokemon currently the best corporation in existence? They seem to please almost everyone in the hobby/slash industry. I think they're killing it. They're doing great. What is it? The highest grossing media franchise of all time. So, um, Can we get a not life advice emoji? I have at least 10 or 15 more emotes that I couldn't use yet because I didn't have the slots unlocked. But now that Amplitude bought 50, I should have at least like 2 more. We'll see though. Seems to me that with Pokemon and the elite collectors, like I'm not going to call anyone out, but y'all seem tight knit and I'm straight peanut butter jelly. I'm 33 years old and man enough to say it. I think there's this probably misconception about like, oh, everyone's friends with everybody and it's a very closed community and they wouldn't get along with anybody. And there are so many people. Like years back, I started on E4 and I did meet in person in Worlds 2018, but I met them online and I became friends with them online. A lot of big names. I mean, I originally met Scott, Rusty, Zach, Gary. I'm not Old Skool Pokemon, Nick. Tons of people on E4 over the years. Pokemon Steven, too. Shout out Pokemon Steven. There's so many people that I met originally on E4, and then I met a lot of them in Worlds in 2018, 2019, and 2020, 2021. Now I'm hanging out more in like Discords than I was hanging out in the forum, than I hang out in the forum anymore. And everyone's so welcoming. In 2020, the end of 2020, when I went to, no, end of 2021, when I went to Vegas, every time I go to an event, I meet new people. And as long as you're like a reasonable, rational person, we're all very welcoming. Like, go to an event, come to our section, say hi. I know it's probably daunting. I remember going to my first event. It was a little bit like scary, a little bit daunting. Man, I'm going to meet all these people in person for the first time. And that was me having talked to them for years on a forum. But I would recommend put yourself out there. Create a Discord account. Go join Oaks. Go join Squeaks. Introduce yourself. Create a YouTube channel. Start making some videos. Share it around some of the Discords that allow you to share your stuff. Put yourself out there and you'll be surprised how welcoming everyone is. As long as you're like a reasonable person. It's great. The community is the greatest part about it. Just going to these events, hanging out with people, and I think a lot of people, would just be surprised. A lot of people would be surprised how welcoming people are. It's a lot. It's a big hurdle to clear to buy the plane tickets, book the hotel rooms, go to that first event. But you'll be happy you did. You'll be happy you did, I think, if you take that leap. Dan, do you get paid from ad revenue, so you can't claim you do it for free, you monster. I do make a little bit of money. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, YouTube videos are free, but your time is valuable. You can always go trade your time for more money, but you can't go the other way with it. So when people decide to do like a consult with somebody for $50, $100, whatever it is, in a lot of instances, they're just highly valuing their time. I love Pokemon content. I can go consume 20, 40 hours of it a week. And I have the time to do that because I do it passively in the background while I'm selling the stuff. But not everyone has that time. Not everyone cares to. So to like shortcut it, to get the TLDR for 50 or $100, pretty reasonable to me. And if not, don't pay it. George Bot is trying to do some Forex arbitrage. I just feel the people who complain about people taking money for advice that could easily find should try to give the same advice away for free then. Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't want to engage in it because engaging in negativity is just not going to be beneficial in any way. But yeah, challenge the people saying those things. Okay, I want to set up an S corporation. I mean, again, I don't want to like, I don't even want to get too into it because it's just gonna, feeding into drama is not worthwhile. So I'm not even gonna continue to address it, I guess. Is your dad paying his taxes? What's his net? How many of us could profit the same amount as your dad fabricating metals? When are we getting a Dan spinoff channel on fire and personal finance? I put in some of the concepts when I did my financial advice video. When I do my like life journey videos, more behind the business, I sprinkle in concepts here and there, but I don't think I'll ever spin off like a separate video for it. Um, Brilliant Stars booster box is now out of stock on Pokemon Center. I didn't know you were a dirty OSRS flipper too, the Zard Hunter. Uh, I do the reverse. People actually pay me to not hear my advice. Will you shut up? Here. What is that? There's a meme from that show. I'm gonna pay you $100 to f off or whatever it was. Dan can't say. Am I pronouncing another thing wrong? Abyssal whip, abyssal whip. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I don't even know how I said it at first. Ivy Pikachu, number one. Then are you worried that Pokemon grading feels too easy again? For example, you can find many $5 to $10 cards, even some $1 cards that profit at 15. Just have us feeling PSA is going to be backed up again. I don't think they'll get backed up again at 15, but I wouldn't be shocked if our new floor is 12 to 15. All these people calling for like, oh, I want $10 grading, but I'm also sending out 100 Scarlet Violet ones, and I'm also sending out old maid cards and Uno cards and poker cards. It's like we'll never get there if people keep, which is fine. I'm not like mad at people for grading and making money, but we're never gonna get there if people keep sending in 1,000,000 cards a month at $15. So I think we're in a good spot. I think we're in a very good spot, and I think it's better for the hobby. Honestly, probably unpopular opinion, but I think it's better for the prices to stay kind of higher and the volume out of PSA to stay lower. I would rather have 10 million a year at 15 than 20 million a year at 10. I think that would be detrimental to the hobby. Kind of talking about Pokemon overprinting. I think PSA can overprint. PSA can overshoot demand, and it would be bad for all of us. Even if like the worst cards would be hit worst, but it would have ramifications on the better cards too if everything collapses. What's your favorite Pokemon? I'm so bad with favorites. Some of my favorites: Charmander, Mewtwo is great, Gengar, Haunter. I don't really like Ghastly at all, but Gengar and Haunter are awesome. Dragonite. I mean, Pikachu is awesome. Quaxley. So many great Pokemon. Thoughts on Evolving Skies ETB? Have about 10. Hold, sell, or open. I wouldn't open them, probably. I'd buy loose packs to open from a trusted source. It all depends on your goals. Hold or sell would be my take. I'm almost caught up. I'm friends with none of these jokers, all competition. Exactly. Take me and Dan, for example. I thought he was my friend, but turns out he just likes the guy from Daily Refinement. uh, Calling E4 the forum. I mean, it was the forum that I was on. I used to be on some silver and coin forums too back in the day. Dan and anybody at Section 71 is my enemy. Section 71 is terrible. Having no skin in the game, I can make that claim. Yeah, E4. I say E4 shorthand. It used to be Elite Forum on Pro Boards, but now it's Elite4.com, and then there is still MountMoon.com, which is the former Elite Four. Um, we're never going to get there, says the man that graded Dan at PSA 9. I only graded Dan at PSA 9 because I failed at grading it as a PSA 10. But I graded like 6 of these. I graded like 6, and I think 4 were 9s and 2 were 10s. I have 2 of the 3 PSA 10s in the world. Yeah, us versus them division sells. It gets clicks and it sells, and that's what modern politics is. That's what a lot of people make out of religion too. That's why I'm very non-religious, apolitical. I have my own beliefs, but they are my own. I don't identify with any of the major uh, political parties. I couldn't find the word for political party or major religions or anything like that. It just Division is bad. I'm gonna show really quickly just because I did go to the desk cam and I thought about it. I caught him out of the corner of my eye. I'm gonna go for half an hour longer. Half an hour longer, just hanging out. Chat is absolutely killing it today. 110 people hanging out. I appreciate all of you and anyone watching this later. You guys are, it's awesome how I can just go live and hang out for a couple hours with chat, doing Q&A and talking about the market that we all know and love. But yeah, I do have some auctions. Pokemon is mainly what I do, but I do any graded cards. If you want to check out my consignments, link in the description below. If you want to check out these listings, they're all under code DD1. So click the link below to my eBay and search DD1. These will all come up. They are auctions ending this Sunday. I will be doing a post on Instagram as well. Some bangers, some apps. I had some people tag me in Discord when I listed these auctions. Metal Raiders first edition Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the early sets. Some real bangers. We got Magic Jammer. We got Change of Heart. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not nostalgic to me, but I can still appreciate the history behind these being some of the early sets. We got Tournament Pack 1. Then we got a PSA 9 Dark Blastoise. A little bit of Pokemon in there. Back to Metal Raiders first edition. Dujin. Probably pronouncing that wrong as I do it so much. We got Harpy Lady Sisters. Also in PSA 10. A lot of Metal Raiders first edition. Garnacia Elephantis. See how many of these I can butcher. Then we got Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Metal Raiders PSA 9. We got Dark Necrofear from Labyrinth Nightmare. We got Magic Ruler First Edition PSA 9. Relinquished. We got a PSA 7 No Symbol Vaporeon. We got a PSA 10 Here Comes Team Rocket Hollow. The Unlimited. And then to end it up, Kazajin, Metal Raiders First Edition, PSA 9. I know we got Retro in the chat. I know he's into Yu-Gi-Oh! Hopefully he'll appreciate. Hopefully some others will appreciate some of those. Click the link below, search DD1, or filter my store for auctions. Those are the only auctions I currently have on my YouTube, on my eBay. So yeah, you can find those there as well. I will get a story up probably tomorrow to show those off as well. When is the next collectible coin boom? I have no idea. Coins did boom some in 2020, I think, with Pokemon and all that. Am I doing Worlds this year? Worlds is not in the cards for me. Bummer that it's in Japan. I would have to go for like a week to justify the expense and the duration of the travel, and I'm just not looking. Maybe someday, if either one of them gets into playing it, then I can go to all of them, justifying it business and pleasure. I guess them playing in it, but yeah, it's not in the cards for this year. Definitely not. How dare you interrupt my workday with dang content? Any high 5-figure cards you have your eye on, or just churning volume for the time being? There are some cards. I think the list I always give whenever I'm asked, cards that I've never owned that I'd love to own: Master's Key, Wonder Platinum, Miracle Diamond, Victory Ring Pikachu, Victory Orb Mew, Tropical Wind. A lot of cards like that. High 5 figures. Mid-high, I guess some even low 5 figures, but I just can't justify tying up the cash flow. If the right opportunity came, I would buy them, but they would be to resell for more money, not PC items for me. At some point in the next few weeks, I'll do a video of my PC, but it's very small. There are very few cards that I value significantly more than the market these days. There's very few cards that I intend to never sell. Very, very few. Yeah, anyone in a couple discords I shared that with, but somebody messaged me on the PSA 9 Dan Their only message. I don't know if it was one of you guys just trolling or what, but it was really funny. They said you should be ashamed. I think I had this listed for like 25 bucks on eBay, and I just replied, I am. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, hopefully there's a full art Dan someday. I'm gonna invest heavy in that. Um Shooting for 10 is so last year. I shoot for PSA 7 for less competition. The real play is, and old card shop knows this. Josh knows this. PSA 1. I sell PSA 1s for PSA 8 prices. So why even try for 9s or 10s when you can just get a 1 and sell for 8 or 9 price? I got lucky and received 6 Zard UPC promos and 1 UPC. They're in the same package too. Should I keep sealed? I have a couple Error Vivid Voltage staff packs that have an extra Lugia. I bought them for very slightly over what the regular sealed packs were going for as kind of a novelty. It's like, I don't think they really justify much of a premium over 2 sets of Zard promos, but you might find that niche person that cares about it. So I wouldn't open them personally. I would try to sell them for a premium just to that oddity collector that like wants to get some novel item. Brad says he has an admission to make. It was me who told Dan he should be ashamed of himself on eBay. I figured it was someone that I know. I don't know if he's memeing now or if he actually did, but that's funny. Um oh, I was wondering what Retro was saying. Wow, first edition. Who sent these? One of my consigners. It's yeah, it's pretty solid cards. I've had them listed for the past couple months on Buy It Now, and they just wanted to get out of them for now. They wanted to auction them off. So pretty solid cards. Yeah. I do not share if they're watching, they are someone who's watched the channel before. If they're watching and they want to be known, I guess they can reach out to Retrospecs, but let's see. Is that the knockoff Digimon game? Earth to Dan who sent these cards. No Jinzo, no care. I did have a Jinzo. Or no, I didn't have a Jinzo. I have a Jinzo. I think I have a Jinzo on consignment, or maybe it already sold. I forget. How was the trade night? I'll be at the next one in New Hampshire. I didn't go to the trade night. I do intend to make one at some point this year. I hope they're able to do 4. But yeah, it didn't work out this time. I do want to make one though. I want to get out and visit Nick and Jake though. But hopefully I'll make one this year. I don't know if they have a tentative date yet. I told Nick to let me know with notice. Definitely go follow Old Skool Pokemon and Pokenomics, Jake. If you're in the Massachusetts, New Hampshire area and are looking for a local not like a full-fledged convention, but just a trade night. They host one. What's it called? I forget what the name of the game store is, but it's in Hooksett, New Hampshire, if I remember correctly. So yeah, definitely go follow them. Dan TCG as well is one of the ones that puts it on. Follow them so that you can see when they're planning the next one. If I'm ever going to go to one too, I'll talk about it in a live stream on here. I'll definitely advertise the fact that I'm going. Finding places selling Scarlet and Violet booster box cases for $600. That's pretty cheap, ain't it? My initial proposed pricing from both of my distributors was like $96 to $98 a box. So that's very cheap relative to what my initial price was. I've reached out to both of my distributors basically saying like, hey guys, I've been buying a lot more the past year and 2 years than I was prior. And I've had several year-old accounts with both of you. I'm going to try to negotiate lower pricing than what they initially proposed me because they were high. We'll see how that works though. Boondock asking if anyone else is pumped for the big tech earnings tonight. I don't. I own a lot of traditional investments in my retirement advantaged, tax advantaged accounts. I don't follow earnings. I don't follow the. I try to like once quarterly look at what the S&P 500 is doing, but I try to not look more frequently than that. What the rates are. I look a couple times a year at what I bonds are doing. I bought some last year because they were crazy prices. I don't know if I'll buy any this year, but I try to be active in cardboard and passive in that stuff. You think adopting digital currency will boom the old coin market? They want to track all your Pokemon purchase. I'm trying to barter while it's still legal. It would be interesting if they ever got rid of cash entirely. I think they'd have a hard time doing it anytime soon, but it wouldn't surprise me if in my lifetime cash was just no longer made. All these negative things about, cryptocurrencies used for illicit activities, cash, $100 bills, US currency has always been the most commonly used thing for illicit transactions. And if they make it so it's all done through your phone or through a card, if it's all digital, they can, the IRS would probably love that. They can crack down on a lot of things. So I wouldn't be shocked if 50 years from now or less, we have just everything digital. What that will do to vintage coins, paper money, things like that, who knows? What will that do to like cardboard? The NFT thing, all the crashes we've seen, all the drama and all the things in that space. Who knows if somebody eventually gets it right and if it clicks and if it takes off? And who knows if cardboard, trading cards that we're interacting in will even be a thing in 50 years, right? It'll be interesting. Hopefully I'm around for 50 more years to see where it all goes. Peak Tattoo says, I recently sold an open first print VHS The Thing for $125. It sold within 30 minutes of posting. I was shocked and curious, what unexpected items are the most liquid for you? It could have been just fortunate circumstance, right? Like you could have just been happened to list it the day that somebody was, I'm going to buy The Thing VHS today. Today's the day I'm going to buy it. And just good timing. If you had 20 more of them and you listed them for the same price, is the liquidity really there? Is the market depth there? I have no idea. But I don't know. I mostly sell Pokemon cards and the liquidity is mostly very, very high. I'm very happy with the liquidity. So I'm just generally happy with the liquidity of everything I deal in for the most part. Jake Smith says, easiest snap of my life. I don't know if he actually bought it, probably just memeing. Dan is the Dobby of the hobby. He accepts his shame. Dan, are you saying to crack my PSA 6 cards and put them in a washing machine? I'm not saying that, but I am saying that PSA 1s would likely outsell PSA 6s in many instances. Oh, I just jumped to the bottom. I'm close to the bottom though anyways. If you could trade collections with anybody in the hobby, who would it be? Probably anybody. If you're talking about my collection. My collection, I have a PSA 10 Dan back here. I have a PSA 9 Squirtle. I have a PSA 10 Griddle Greaser Pete. And then I have my childhood binder. The monetary value of my actual collection, very, very low. Most people watching this probably have more money. I don't know about most, but less than 5 figures, less than $10,000 probably. Counting the PSA 8 Shadowless Blastoise I pulled in Vegas, counting the PSA 9 Zard I pulled on stream. There's not many cards that I wouldn't or don't intend to ever sell. If you're talking about inventory, anybody with a bigger inventory that's worth more money, right? or more liquid. I would love for somebody to just come buy me out for like 50% value on my entire inventory. I will give anyone 50% of my 50% value. It's always funny when people say, oh, that he only pays 60%, he only pays X%, that's not enough, what a scammer. I will take 50%, but you have to buy everything. 50% TCG, low, whatever you want to go buy, but you're buying all of it. You need like a tractor trailer to come and send one to Troll and Toad, send PWCC Vault will have to get emptied. I would sell it all for 50% though, for sure. Speaking of extras and packs, anyone get 3 Pop-Tarts in 1 pack before? I never have had that pleasure. I do have some like double stuffed booster packs though. I showed probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago on my YouTube channel in a video of just like oddities, miscuts, weird things that I've pulled over the years. I have about 200 Yu-Gi-Oh! MRD first edition cards and 9 with some 10 conditions. Should I have them all graded to sell? I don't know, honestly. I don't know what they sell for raw. I do know what some of them sell for graded because I've sold some through consignments and I'm actively selling more. But as far as the cheaper ones, commons, uncommons, things like that, non-hollows, I don't really know. You'd have to just look at the prices, and then you'd need to worry about liquidity too. I don't know what it looks like. In your opinion, what card game do you think has the most room to grow in the next decade, excluding Pokemon/MetaZoo? I mean, what game has the most room to grow? The newest ones, right? Like theoretically, if Lorcana really hits it off, it's starting from 0, so it can grow the most. The promos that came out, those already have a lot of optimism priced in, and they can't grow to the same extent, right? But if Lorcana comes out and really does shake things up, if it becomes big, that one can grow infinity, right? Because it's starting from 0. Same thing to be said for any brand new TCG. The newer it is, the smaller it is, the more room it could theoretically grow. Which one do I think will? No idea. I don't know. So speculative. The newer it is, the more speculative it is. 50% of market low. I mean, if people, Squeaks, I'm sure if somebody would clean you out, I would sell, but I'm giving, like, I'm not selling bulk cards at 1 cent a piece. You're giving me, TCG player market is 6 cents, so you're giving me half of that. You're giving me 3% on all my, 3 cents on all my bulk. You're buying all the MetaZoo bulk. You're buying everything, cleaning it out. I'm getting 1 check and I'm just emptying everything, and then I can start over from scratch. Nobody's gonna do that. Nobody. It would be a dream situation if they would, but nobody's doing that. It would be in the 7 figures. I don't know exactly what the number would be, but it would be in the 7 figures for sure. Dan, what's the main reasons you'd take 50% for your inventory? Because if I sell it myself, I only get 80%, and I do all the work, and I have 8 years of backlog, 9 years of backlog, millions of cards, probably. I have so much stuff. Somebody said, why wouldn't you just auction it all? I'm not talking about my 2,000 listings on eBay. I'm talking about my 2,000 listings on eBay, plus my hundreds of cards at PWCC, plus my 100,000 plus cards at Troll and Toad, plus the 25,000 card binder collection that I recently bought. I'm talking everything. So many things that I don't even know I have. It would have to be all uncovered, and you just blindly pay 50% for all of it. Nobody's taking that deal. What is your mindset when opening packs? My mindset is I hope I pull the best card I can possibly pull, and I hope it grades a PSA 10 so I can sell it and make money. Or so that I can keep it and have a cool memento. Like when I, where did it just go? When I pulled that Charizard from PK's stream. Obviously, I wanted to pull the Charizard when I opened that pack. It didn't grade the 10. Now that it didn't grade the 10, silver lining, I'll probably keep it forever because I want a PSA 9 anyways. But if it was a 10, I'd have to sell it. Lorcana is financial freedom. Lorcana gonna drain a lot of Timmy's wallets. Pokeknowledge Card says, why does McDonald's Coke taste better than regular Coke? I'm going to push back on that and say it doesn't. But maybe you just like slightly watered down Coke. I do like Coke on ice. For the stream, right now I'm just drinking it in a can. But I do like it on ice. Super, super cold. So maybe you just like it better when it's cold. Maybe you like it when it's slightly watered down. But that's definitely a thing too. I mean, maybe your palate just prefers the slightly different flavor. making it from the syrup that they make it from. I like draft beer better than I like canned or bottled beer. So yeah, when I drink like Utica Club beer, a local beer to me, when I drink Saranac beer, I greatly prefer to get it on tap than to get it in a can or a bottle for whatever reason. Some of it could just be mental too. Some of it could just be what you're pairing it with. You're pairing it with those nice greasy fries, greasy burgers, and it just hits different when you're eating it with that. Whereas when you drink it at home in a can, you're drinking it with like real food. Appreciate you, Java. I see Java Akuma dropped 5 memberships in chat. Congrats. Looks like Poke Knowledge is the proud owner of a new badge. Looks like yeah, we got 5 new people in there. Appreciate you, Java. Go check out his channel. If I buy everything from you, I want your clothes and name too. Can you believe that Pokemon Center already ran out of Crown Zenith ETB for the second time? What are your thoughts on it? I don't know how many they printed, so it's not surprising to me. Having no frame of reference. Did they print it as heavily as Evolving Skies? Celebrations? I have no idea. It's not that surprising to me. A lot of things sell out at Pokemon Center fairly quickly, so pretty reasonable. House of Dragonite asking the same thing I'd ask. Why are you shocked? What's shocking about it? I feels weird to be shocking. They could restock it 5 more times too. We have no idea what it means. Same reason a Bud Light keg tastes better than can. You're in the know. Your mindset sucks. That's why you don't pull hits. It affects pull rates. Oh, he says, how dare you? Maybe, I don't know. At first when I read it, I'm like, is he saying how dare you to Java for buying him a membership? Or is he saying how dare you to me for saying that he likes McDonald's Coke more? Because it's watered down. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of funny though. A blank thanking Java for the membership. Fuel Card Shop, happy, thankful for his membership. Java's a real one for sure. McDonald's Sprite is the best. Sprite is the real take. Dan has no McDonald's in the woods. How would he know? I have quite a few McDonald's around me. I think the closest McDonald's would be 15 minutes away, and I probably have 1, 2, 3. I must have 6 or 8 within half an hour. There's a lot of them. A lot of them around. To end the stream, turn lights off and leave us with a profound thought of the week. Man, that's putting the pressure on me. I have 8 minutes to think of a profound thought. I don't know if I can come up with anything. On tap from a bigger can. Yeah, kegs are just big cans when you think about it. Everything is better on tap, including McD's Coke. My kids, when I was younger, Happy Meals are very nostalgic. The whole Beanie Baby thing, my mom used to get us all the Happy Meals for a while there. The Burger King, obviously, for some of the Pokemon toys, but my kids are big fans of Happy Meals, and I've been eating more McDonald's the past few years than I would like, because I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's, but it's not that bad. It's more just how you feel the day after eating it. It is not the best. But Mrs. Walrus just screamed McDonald's Coke is the best. So PK, you've got people on your side backing you up. To me, I prefer canned, but I do get Cokes when I go to McDonald's usually too. Cokes are I don't know if they still have the orange high C. That's what I used to always get growing up. When will we have a Pokeflips in person? Nick did stream from in the office with me once. It wasn't a Pokeflips, but anytime we get together in person, we've talked about recording a Pokeflips or going live in person. A lot of times we just want to hang out though. It's like we don't want to waste the time making content when we can do that from Discord. We can do that any given time. When we're hanging out together, we wanna yeah, just hang out. Kind of like the same reason that I I don't like to record stuff. I don't want to make content from Collecticon because I just want to be in the moment. Would you rather one Evolutions box or two Evolving Skies boxes? Neither. I'd rather the cash. Fast food hits rural areas hard. Yeah, there's a lot of them. People forget Crown Zenith is going the Generation release route, products all year long. CZ will be flooding shelves just like Generations did. My fiance also agrees McDonald's Coke is the best. I've bought you out for 50%, but you can keep one item. What are you keeping? My childhood binder. I don't ever intend to do a members only stream. I have, again, I do consultations. That's a paywall, but I do free also. I do free Q&A via these streams via Pokeflips. I have the paywalled Patreon as well. So I have some gated paywall content. This YouTube is not it though. This YouTube is free, will remain free. Memberships will be there. I might introduce higher membership tiers as well, but there will never be like content you need to pay for on this channel. There's other places for that. So I miss orange drink from McDonald's. That still exists. I don't know. No idea. Pikachu trying to get me, but I was not born yesterday. I know most of the lingo, I think. Let's be in the moment, Nick whispers in Dan's ear. How often do I throw out Pokemon / Metazoo cards? Not as often as I should. I don't know that I've ever thrown out anything. What I would do in the past, like I have some, actually, I just bought a collection recently, and these, obviously, in any condition, you would never throw these away. But, like, these cards are busted. These cards are super creased and damaged, probably PSA 1. So I'm absolutely grading them at the $15 tier. They'll probably get upcharged at the $15 tier just because of what they are. But if I had like commons and uncommons in this condition, you should just throw them away. And I should just throw them away, but I don't. What I do is I take a couple cards like this, and what I used to do, I'd take a couple cards like this to juice up the lot, and I'd sell them with like 2,000 or 3,000 junk cards. And I'd take a medium flat rate or a large flat rate box, bulk them all up together, and move them. I just hate throwing stuff away. I'm a bit of a hoarder. So it served me well in the 2020 boom. But at some point, I do just need to like get rid of a lot of stuff. Never will be on OnlyFans. I don't think that will be upsetting news for anyone. Save the internet that. You'll get a 2, drill a hole is what I was told when I got 2s. Can't wait to hold that Aerodactyl EX you sent out. How much time do you spend packaging, daily shipping? Check out my video, about an hour a day on average, but check out my video from 3 weeks ago, I think it was. It's called Seller Nirvana, and it's got Nirvana, shout out PK, that Fire Red Leaf Green Pikachu, or not Pikachu, Squirtle art of the Nirvana album cover. Check that one out, and I actually go through what my week looks like, what my weekly schedule looks like. So if you want a deeper dive on that, Dan has a Velcro wallet from middle school. My wallet was right here. No, I got just a thin black leather wallet, no bells and whistles, pretty simple. But I'm gonna be leaving very soon. I'm gonna grab these last couple questions, and I'm gonna end stream right around 4:30. Do you agree with the opinion that newer collectors will eventually gravitate towards vintage cards, thereby increasing the demand? A lot of people think vintage and modern are zero-sum games. Yeah, it's like a funnel, right? Like modern catches the most people, and then some amount of people work their way down the funnel. The very bottom of the funnel is like super niche stuff, trophy cards, Japanese promos. Not everyone makes it there, but most people, like the funnel, the peak of that is ultra modern. It is the entryway for a lot of people. Could the large number of beautiful alt art cards in Crown Zenith actually hurt the alt art prices on earlier sets like Evolving Skies? If it does, that's kind of scary. Like, if people, I don't know. Artists are gonna art, is what I always say. Like, if you're buying something because you think that, oh, this is exclusive and looks really cool, and if you're worried that more newer, better, flashier art is going to hurt the price of your investments or what you own, that's a scary, scary thing because there's always going to be better and more art. I've got to end here. Mr. Walrus wants me to be profound. I don't have any profound thoughts to share as I close, but yeah, drop the abras in chat. Oh, I found out where I have emotes, so I do have emotes too. I'm gonna call it there though. We're at 4:29. That's close enough to quitting time for me by the time I wrap up here. I, as always, appreciate everyone for watching. Shout out Java for the 5 gifted subs. Shout out Amplitude for the 50 gifted subs. Absolutely incredible. Next week, look forward to having a couple additional emote slots for all the members. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Really looking forward to I don't watch the Pro Bowl, but 1 week from this weekend we'll have the Super Bowl, and I'm looking forward to that. So have fun. Have a nice weekend. I will catch you all later.